welcome to another episode of Geekoutdoors.com. Now that 2015 is behind us, let's go ahead and look back at the tech we had, and I'm going to choose the top 5 tech in 2015. Now, this list is actually my own personal preference, so if you agreed or disagreed, be sure to leave those comments below at the end of this episode. Let's first start off with my number 5 pick, and that would be the Moto X Pure Edition phone. There were so many great phones that came out in 2015, especially when it came to the Android space. So why did I choose this one above all the other ones? Well, quite simply for one word, and that is value. For $400, there's no phone, flagship or not, that gives you more bang for the buck. Let's talk about what you get for this price. First and foremost, you get a 5.7-inch Quad HD screen. You get a very powerful processor, Qualcomm Snapdragon processor on the inside. You get ample RAM. You get a 21 megapixel camera, and from all the reviews, this is the best camera the Motorola's ever put in there. And this phone is actually unlocked. It has all the radio bands, so basically this will work pretty much anywhere around the world. And other features that it has, which I wish the flagships had, it has a micro SD card slot, and to me, this is so important. Your phone fills up really quickly now, especially with HD videos and games. And having a SD card slot, it's just like, an amazing thing that I think every phone should still have. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And other features that it has is turbo power charging. And here, you get about 10 hours of extra battery life in just 15 minutes. And also, it's actually water repellent as well. Now, that doesn't mean you could drop it in the water in a lake for like 30 minutes or so forth. But if you were to spill something on it, you could feel, safe in knowing that it's not going to damage it. Now, beyond the hardware itself, you could actually customize this phone in any way that you would like, whether it comes to the backing, the bezels, the front grille. You could even put like an engravement there. So the customization options, it is just mind-blowing. There is no other manufacturer out there that allows you to make your phone your own better than Motorola with their Moto Maker. Now, besides those things, you also get software features that actually make sense, that you would actually use. For example, they have a feature, I think it's called Moto Sense, where you wave your hand over the phone and it'll show you your notifications without you actually opening your phone, which is really useful. And also, it has gestures where you could chop your phone and a flashlight comes on, or you could twist it and the camera comes on. So all features that are actually useful. So that is actually my number 5. Now, moving on to my number 4, we have the SteamOS and Steam machines. Now, Valve, who basically created the SteamOS operating system and who is partnering up with all these hardware manufacturers to create these Steam machines, they want to come into this gaming space where they're providing machines and an operating system that has the power and flexibility of a PC with the ease of use and the size of a console. Now, the initial machines, the initial reviews haven't been great, but it hasn't been horrible neither. So it brings a lot of potential. And the biggest thing it does is it brings more competition to not only the PC space where it's ruled by Windows, but also the console space where it's ruled by Sony and Microsoft. And another great thing that it does is it brings high quality games to the Linux community. Now, the SteamOS operating system is Linux based, and so people who are Linux users can look forward to more higher quality games. So this is all good for the gaming community, and as long as Valve could make sure the operating system and the hardware works well together and is high quality, and plus they bring more high quality games, I could definitely see this being a big competitor in the gaming space. So let's move on to number 3, and my number 3 pick is the Raspberry Pi Zero. Now, this is a $5 computer. Now, this isn't a computer in the traditional sense. This is actually a printed circuit board, and this is really not meant for newbies, but the potential is amazing. What you could do with this little $5 device is pretty much limitless, and it's only basically, limited by your imagination and your skill sets. This does have some pretty beefy hardware, so you could do things like web browsing, and you could even turn this into an emulator machine. But like I said, this can be used for so many applications. This has been used in robotics as well. You could use this to create your own controller. Like I said, it's almost limitless. Now, this would have definitely been my number one if it wasn't for the fact that this is not mass consumer friendly. You really have to be a geek or a techie to be able to make this work, especially the way that you want it to. But it's definitely going to cause a revolution in the future once they make this more mass consumer friendly and at this unbelievable price of $5. So there's only 2 slots left on my top 5 list. So this was kind of hard for me to come up with this because there were so many great technologies that came out. But my top 2, let's go there right now. My number 2 is Google Fiber. Now, this did not come out in 2015, but the reason why I chose this is because it's going to bring a lot of value and welcome change to the telecom market. Right now, anybody who's used AT&T, Verizon, and especially Comcast, Cox, and Time Warner know that they're not getting the best value for their money. As a matter of fact, most people have had horrible experiences, myself included. So what Google brings to the table is giving you an unbelievable amount of speed, internet speed, for the price. Now, they have a very simple 3-tier system. For the basic internet, besides the installation fee, it's basically free. So for this basic internet, you get 5 megs download and 1 meg upload speed. And now for their internet service, for $70, you're getting up to 1,000 megs per second download and up to 1,000 meg upload. Now, if you go to YouTube and you look up Google Fiber speeds, you'll see most people are getting anywhere from 800 to 900 meg upload and 800 to 900 meg download and 600 to 700 meg upload, which is actually insane. Now, my internet speed, I'm getting about 15 meg download and 3 meg upload, and I'm paying almost the same amount. And so there's nobody else who's offering this much at this price. And they also have a TV package as well, which is $130, which is still better than your traditional telecom companies. And so this initially came out in Kansas City, but now it's rolling out to a lot more cities, and they're going to expand even quicker. And so I look forward to what this is going to bring, not only for us as the consumers, but also competition to the existing telecom providers right now. Now, the biggest challenge for Google here is they're not known as a customer service company. They're more known as a tech company. So we'll see how Google deals with their customer service. Hopefully, it'll be better than what people have experienced with Comcast and Time Warner. So on to my number 1. But before I get there, I did have some honorable mentions that didn't quite make it to that list. Starting off with virtual reality. So companies such as Oculus, Samsung, Microsoft, HTC, and Sony, they're all getting into VR. Now, virtual reality has been an idea and concept that's been around for as long as I've been introduced to technology. But it's only now that it looks like the technology is getting there and that it'll have more mass consumer appeal, especially since people are getting back into watching 3D movies at theaters. So I tried out the Samsung Gear VR at Best Buy, and it's only $99. What are my thoughts? Well, it's not quite there yet. I kind of got dizzy, but I could only see this technology improving, and at price points of like $99 and possibly lower in the future, this is going to be, make it more, available to people who want to experience this. So my other honorable mention is, once it loads up, is the Apple Watch, or more specifically, wearables. Now, Android Wear and Pebble Watch, they were there before Apple was, but as usual, when Apple gets into a space, they make it popular and they make it more mass consumer friendly. There's no brand that's loved more than Apple. And so with this, wearables is going to become more and more mainstream going forward. And it's not only just watches, but it's also going to be like shoes, such as sneakers. It's going to be clothing. There's so many different applications that could be applied to wearables. So those are my honorable mentions. And now let's get to my number one top tech pick in 2015. And my top pick is the Walmart phone, or in this case, the LG Sunrise. Now, why did I choose this one as my top tech? Well, let's look at that price. That is $9.82. After tax, you're probably going to be paying $10 US. And what you're getting for that price is a fully functional Android smartphone. Now, the specs aren't going to blow you away. You know, it has a 3.88 screen. It has 4 gigs of storage, but it does have a micro SD card slot. It has a 3 megapixel back camera, so that's not what's going to blow you away. But just consider, at this price, you are getting a fully functional smartphone. So there's so many countries around the world who do not have access to high quality smartphones. Now, you could go to China and India and get, very cheap smartphones, maybe even around this price, definitely. But they definitely don't have the quality of an LG phone, and LG is the one who makes this phone. Now, what's great about this is, I've always been the belief that technology in the hands of more consumers, it could improve the world. And when you bring it at a price that's affordable for most people, and then you make this available to a lot of people around the world, it can only be beneficial. And, if you're the type of person who drops your phones a lot or shatters your screen, or maybe you just accidentally drop it in the toilet every now and then, this is a great way for you to have a smartphone and not have to wait. So that's basically my top 5 picks and my honorable mentions in 2015. And as I stated earlier, if you agreed or disagreed, leave your comments below, and I would love to hear what your top 5 picks are, or your top 10 picks, or whatever your list might be. And as always, if you enjoyed these videos, be sure to subscribe. And for full written episodes, blog posts, and additional content, be sure to head out to Geekoutdoors.com, and I will see you in 2016.